Yo guys, we've been learning more and more about God Valley in recent chapters, and chapter 1095 marked the start of the God Valley flashback, so I wanted to do a top 10 list of the strongest characters present during the God Valley incident, and starting off the list at number 10 is Scopper Gabon. He is the left-hand man of Pirate King Gold Roger, and we've seen Gabon confidently ready to clash with Odin in the manga, and in the anime, he actually was able to fight on equal terms with Odin. Now, Gabon's probably similar in strength to some of the lower members of the Rocks Pirates like Captain John, Ochoku, or Silveraxe, but I decided to give Gabon the nod since we've actually seen a little bit of what he can do, and it's crazy that Xebec had 3 low-ranking crewmates that were just as strong as Roger's left-hand man. But moving on to number 9 here, we start to get into the real heavy hitters, and at the number 9 spot, I have Kaido. And I know this might be a surprise to some of you guys, but hear me out. The God Valley incident was 38 years ago, which would mean Kaido was only 21 at the time, and he was a freak of nature, but at only 21 years old, he was nowhere near his prime. And on top of that, Big Mom revealed in chapter 999 that she gave Kaido his Devil Fruit after they were defeated at God Valley. So during the actual fight, he didn't even have the insane durability that has made him such a powerhouse. And despite that, we learned in Kaido's flashback he was basically a one-man army since he was a child, and that's why Xebec recruited him in the first place. So he's definitely deserving of the number 9 spot. But now number 8, we have Big Mom herself, and I think this one's pretty clear-cut since we've seen what Big Mom can do at both Wano and Whole Cake. Now just imagine the Big Mom we know, but younger, smarter, more mentally stable. During the actual incident, she would have been 30 years old, which puts her close enough to her prime, and that's why she's in the 8th spot. Now as the 7th strongest, we have the Dark King himself, Silvers Rayleigh. And this shouldn't come as a surprise to many, but I'll give some background as to why Rayleigh deserves this spot anyways. At God Valley, Rayleigh would have been 40 years old and likely at the peak of his powers. And we've seen that Old Man Rayleigh was able to clash and even keep up with a character like Kizaru. And in chapter 1059, Rayleigh himself even implied that he probably would have been able to take on Blackbeard if he was in his prime. And there's no doubt Rayleigh was a menace in his prime, so he's definitely deserving of the number 7 spot. Moving on to number 6, we have the Golden Lion Shiki. After the God Valley incident, Shiki became a rival of Roger, and Shiki has some pretty crazy feats. Shiki in his prime fought both Garp and Sengoku at Marineford, and even though he lost, the damage after their battle was insane. And I don't see why he wouldn't have had a similar level of strength during the God Valley incident. However, it's likely he didn't get his Devil Fruit until after he was defeated at God Valley like Kaido, since the prizes we see the Celestial Dragons bring to God Valley are most likely the Devil Fruits of the Rocks Pirates, excluding Big Mom. Now moving into the top 5, we get into the real cream of the crop. So at number 5, we have the world's strongest man, Edward Newgate, aka Whitebeard. And I shouldn't have to say much here. Whitebeard would have been 36 during the God Valley incident, and the prime version of the Pirate King's true rival is definitely deserving of the 5th spot on this list. Now I think the next spot on the list will be a little bit more controversial. But coming in at number 4, we have the newly introduced commander of the Gods Knights, and likely Shank's dad, the Garling. And in his introduction, Garling was the man regarded as the champion of God Valley, and I'm sure he played a huge role on the side of the Celestial Dragons. I'm sure many of you might disagree with Garling over Whitebeard, but in recent chapters, we've been led to assume that Garling is Shank's father. And way back in chapter 434, Whitebeard said that seeing Shank's face made the scars that man gave him ache. And if this mystery man Whitebeard spoke of was Garling, that likely means Garling bested Whitebeard at God Valley, and rightfully deserves the spot at number 4 over Whitebeard. Now moving into the top 3, I'm going to go through the 2nd and 3rd spots at the same time. So for the 3rd strongest at God Valley, we have Garp the Hero, and just above him at number 2, we have the Pirate King himself, Gold E. Roger. These guys were always going to take over the top 2 spots, and with God Valley being the place where Garp earned the title of the Hero of the Marines, there's no doubt he put in work here. Both Roger and Garp stood at the top of their fields, and they were both the 2 strongest people at God Valley, only behind one man. And finally coming in at number 1, and holding the title of the strongest person present during the God Valley incident, is the legend himself, Rox D. Xebec. With characters like Kaido, Big Mom, and Shiki on his crew, Xebec was able to take the strongest fighters of his generation under his command, and only the combined strength of Roger and Garp was able to defeat him. Xebec is still shrouded in mystery, but from what we do know, he was definitely the strongest on God Valley that day. Now, if you guys watch to the end of this video, please let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree with this list, and if you disagree, drop your list in the comments below. Please like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.